And baby, can we love until the morning? Our bodies moving while the night is falling. Said, baby, can we love?
Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Unrooted Men's Volleyball Edition. And my guest for this week's show is none other than sophomore outside hitter on the men's volleyball team here at Menlo College, Clayton Chernich. Clayton, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Let's start by talking a little bit about yourself. Now, this is your sophomore season, and I guess in some ways that would mean that you're showing some signs of maturity maybe, or I don't know what you want to call it, but one thing I do know, the hair's gone. The long hair from freshman year, it's all gone. You're a little bit more clean cut now. Why did you change?
Coming into the season, a couple of my teammates told me they think I might get a higher vertical if I cut it, cut the locks.
Yeah.
Shed some weight maybe. And so, I ended up cutting it, getting a little cleaner look, and it feels good, so keeping it short, I guess.
Is your vertical actually higher?
It actually went up a little bit. I don't know if it's attributed to that. I'm just saying.
We might as well attribute it to that.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Do you miss it?
I do. I look back at pictures sometimes, a little tear falls down my cheek,
How long did it take for you to get it to that length?
It was about a year and a half going. So when I cut it, I went all in, went real short with it. So
wow,
yeah,
that's impressive. And you started to add a little bit of the beard look. So
yeah, went a little thicker. I couldn't get it as thick last year, so.
Well, neither can I. We're in kind of like the same boat. You have a little bit more than me. It's a little thicker as a whole.
The length is what matters, though.
But yes, if we can get it down to
there you go.
mountain man
nice
style.
Bushy. Yeah.
Please,
Exactly.
I don't know how many people would be happy if we did that, but at least we would be.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what matters.
Feels good.
Oh, yes, it does. Now, through great research, I have learned that you used to go to, or have at least been to one, an Aberdeen Ironbirds game back in the day, and you caught a foul ball at one of those games when you were 10 years old. What do you remember about the Ironbirds? Did you go to multiple games? Was it just one? Tell me the story.
We actually only went to one. I was visiting my cousins and my grandmother in Baltimore, Maryland. Mm-hmm. And I actually had a little funny thing about this is my uncle coaches a high school baseball team in Maryland, and one of his players is coming here next year.
Oh, really?
And he didn't even correlate that I went here already.
Wow.
But when his player signed, my aunt just recognized the name.
Wow.
So it's a funny little thing.
Menlo College reaching all across the United States. Do you still have this foul ball from the game?
I don't know. I think we might have lost in the shuffle somewhere.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But do you remember getting the foul ball?
I do. The ball went out of the stadium, and my cousin said it'd be really funny if I went and got it. So I jumped off the edge of the stadium, and it was like 10 feet. But for a 10-year-old, that 10 feet was so long. Yeah. And I fell, and I hit the ground running, and I got the ball. Brought a ticket with me and came back into the game.
You straight up left the stadium for a foul. That is an epic story.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And when you tell people that you jumped off the edge of a stadium, you don't need to mention that it's only like 10 feet high. You jumped off the edges. You jumped out of wherever the Ironbirds play.
Exactly. You can picture like the green giant. That's what it looked like to me.
Very dramatic for sure. Now let's talk a little bit about the team here. The Oaks went to Arizona last weekend, and you split a pair of GSAT games to ACU and OUAZ. What changed in the OUAZ match this time around when they beat you versus when they were here and you beat them?
Well, OUAZ is a really good program, and they have a really good team. They did last year, and they do again this year. I think they came into the first game against us here a little bit like assuming we were going to be like last year, and we've definitely improved from last year. So I think they underestimated us a little bit, and then we came out hot, and we just got them throughout the whole game. And then this time they came out really expecting us to play hard, and we kind of underappreciated them. Yeah. So I think our next meeting is going to be a really good game.
Third time's the charm, right, to take the season set. Now, as I mentioned in the introduction, you have kind of transitioned to the outside hitter role this year. So have you been leaning on others and some of your teammates to help kind of influence and adapt your style?
Actually, I think I was kind of coming into their style a little bit more. Definitely with like having a new setter, and Trey's a great setter, and just learning how to kind of go off of what he likes to do is definitely fun thing to do and also a difficult thing to do for someone transitioning to a hitting position.
Absolutely. Now, Pedro Almeida was on the show last week, or the last episode, and he won the Defender of the Week award in the GSAC, this most previous week of action. What is his presence as a libero on this team like for everyone around him?
You know, it's incredible. He's such a good player. He is always there for every ball. Like, sometimes they'll see a ball go off the block or something, we can just assume Pedro's going to be there to scrape it up. So, I mean, he knows he's appreciated on the team. We always give him as much credit as possible, and he deserves it.
And we know that Clayton Chernich is certainly a big fan of Pedro Almeida. That's what he said
Absolutely.
last week
Love
anyways,
Pedro.
right? Vote for Pedro.
Vote for Pedro.
This week, the Oaks go to SoCal. You take on Aquinas College. They are the 6th-ranked team in the country right now, so one of the better teams you'll face during the 2019 season. And you play them twice on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So what are you looking forward to against a really good Aquinas team and having to play them twice? What are some of the advantages and disadvantages there?
Definitely an advantage is going up to play such a good team going into like GSAC play, because we have Benedictine in our league as well, who's a very good team. Ottawa's a very good team. Merced we're going to have to see again. So getting some high volume refs against a really good team is going to be really helpful to us going forward. And, you know, seeing big talent is going to be a good thing to kind of play against.
Absolutely. All right, Clayton, let's get into the final segment of the show. It's called Brownie Bites. I'm going to ask you 3 off-the-wall questions. Give me your best answers. Question number 1, which teammate would most likely drop a foul ball if one were hit to them?
You know, I'd have to say Ben Carruthers. I feel like just something about it. He'd probably get hit in the face by it or something. It'd be coming right to him. He just wouldn't make it happen. We could go for the cheap shot and say Justice. He's got one hand, but that's already been mentioned.
Ooh, that's cold. Now, if we're going to talk about Ben here, would he show up with a glove or not?
I think he would.
Okay, and he'd still miss it.
Yeah, he'd still miss it.
All right, then there's no excuses, Ben. If you show up with a glove and you don't catch it, that's just a bad look.
Yeah, I believe in him. I think he'd drop it.
Would you show up with a glove?
No, I'd barehand it.
And you'd make the catch?
Yeah, absolutely. No question.
I mean, if 10-year-old you jumped off an entire stadium to get a foul ball, there's no telling what you would do now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Question number 2, which teammate can win any debate?
You know, I'd have to go with Justice Patterson on this one. I don't know if it's whether he can win a debate, but he'll outlast anyone, and he'll keep that debate going until either the other person gives up or he figures out a way to beat him. So.
Yeah, I can see that being true, and I'm trying to think of a way in which I can explain why that would be true.
Yeah,
but I just know that would be the case.
Absolutely.
He'd just drag it on and on and on, and you eventually I think it would end in laughter.
Yeah, it usually does.
Yeah, you would start laughing and like, dude, you're not understanding what I'm saying, and then he would just say like, no, man, you know, and then it's over, and then you laugh, and you just find Justice. You win. And then question number 3: if you could make any teammate sing karaoke, who would have the silliest song choice?
God, well, you know, we love these singing questions on the men's team. From Cole Kella, he's got his new song "Morning." He's a great singer, but I gotta go with Dom Venezia. Would have the silliest song choice. He knows a lot of songs that just really are hard to explain. Just some weird songs. So I feel like he'd be able to pull one of those out and get everyone moving.
I mean, his Unrooted song choice was the Scooby-Doo theme song.
Exactly.
So that right there, I think, kind of says a little bit about the kind of person he is. So it'd be a pretty interesting karaoke session with you and the guys.
It'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
I think the team could, in general, pull out some good ones.
Who do you think could pull off the best one?
The best.
Let's now talk about now actually singing.
Oh, the best voice is Cole, no question.
Okay. That's right, because he comes from, there's music in that family.
Oh yeah,
for sure. So you think hands down, he would nail a song?
Hands down, he would nail any song.
Where do you rank on this list?
Well, I actually sung in high school as well, and but I wouldn't match myself up with Cole. I'd probably go lower on. I think someone else would surprise us, so probably middle of the pack.
Interesting. I'm not going to make you sing. Don't
No,
worry.
okay,
I'm not going to put you
yeah.
on the spot there, but that's interesting. They used to do that. So, Clayton, thanks so much for joining me on the show. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome, folks. The men's volleyball team, they're on the road this weekend. They have a really tough opponent in number 6 ranked Aquinas College, and that doubleheader set for Sunday starting at 11 a.m. It's hosted by Cal Lutheran in Thousand Oaks, and the link to the live stream and the live stats will be provided on our website, menloathletics.com. We invite you to tune into next week's episode of Unrooted Men's Volleyball Edition when Clayton Chernich will select the next interviewee by me, Brian Brownfield, right here on the show. Until then, we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.
And baby, can we love until the morning? Our bodies moving while the night is falling. Said, baby, can we love until the morning?